Welcome back to the D-Lo. I'm so glad you're here today because we're going to be talking about a topic that affects every single one of us, our nervous system. If you're dealing with stress, anxiety, or just feeling overwhelmed, understanding how your nervous system works and how to rewire it can be a game changer for both your mental health and your personal growth. Think about it. How often do you feel on edge, exhausted, or unable to relax? Many of us are stuck in survival mode, constantly reacting to stress without realizing the toll it's taking on our minds and bodies. In this episode, we'll break down what the nervous system does and why it matters, how it alerts us to safety and danger, what happens when it's stuck in a stress response, and also techniques to rewire it so you can feel more balanced and in control. So let's get started on learning more about this nervous system of ours. To begin, let's talk about what the nervous system actually does. At its core, your nervous system is your body's command center. It controls everything from your heartbeat to your emotions, helping you respond to the world around you. It's divided into two main parts: the central nervous system, or CNS, which is made up of the brain and spinal cord. It processes information and sends out commands. The second main part is the peripheral nervous system, or the PNS. The PNS connects the CNS, central nervous system, to the rest of your body and includes the autonomic nervous system, the ANS. The autonomic nervous system is the part that runs in the background, controlling things like breathing, digestion, and heart rate. Now, within the autonomic nervous system, we have two key players. The sympathetic nervous system, or SNS, is in charge of what we know of as the fight or flight response. It prepares you for danger, increasing your heart rate, sharpening your focus, and releasing adrenaline. Then there's the parasympathetic nervous system. This is the rest and digest mode. This is where healing and recovery happen. The problem? Many of us spend way too much time in fight or flight mode. Our bodies think we're in danger, even though we're not. When this becomes a pattern, it can lead to anxiety, burnout, and even physical health issues like high blood pressure or gut problems. How many people do you know with both of those things? So how does your nervous system know when you're safe or in danger? Let's explore that in the next segment. Our nervous system is constantly scanning our environment for cues of safety or danger. This process is called neuroception, a term coined by Dr. Stephen Porges. Think of it like a built-in security system, always watching, always interpreting, even when we're not consciously aware of it. When we sense danger, the sympathetic nervous system activates. Heart rate increases. Muscles tense up. Breathing becomes shallow. Cortisol and adrenaline flood the body. When we feel safe, the parasympathetic nervous system engages. Heart rate slows down, breathing deepens, digestion improves, and the body shifts into recovery mode. But here's the catch. Our nervous system isn't just reacting to actual threats. It's reacting to perceived threats. Here's an example. Let's say you had a stressful experience with public speaking in the past. The next time you step on stage, even if there's no real danger, your body may be triggering fight or flight mode. Your palms might become sweaty, your heart might race, and you may even feel like you can't breathe. A different example is if you grew up in an unpredictable or stressful environment, your nervous system might be primed to see the world as unsafe, even in everyday situations. This can lead to something called hypervigilance, which is constantly scanning for threats. Or it can lead to shutdown, which is avoiding situations entirely. When the nervous system is persistently on alert for danger, it affects every part of our lives. Our relationships, our emotions, and even our ability to focus or relax. This may be a lot to hear, but you are able to retrain your nervous system. In the next segment, we'll explore ways to do just that. Understanding the nervous system is important, but what can you do to support it? Fortunately, science-backed techniques can help regulate and rewire your nervous system, promoting better mental health and physical health. So one of the ways is by doing breath work. Breath work activates the parasympathetic nervous system. Diaphragmatic breathing and box breathing activate the vagus nerve, which helps shift your body from a stress response to a more relaxed state. For example, we've mentioned the 4-7-8 breathing method a couple times on this podcast, but to reiterate it, it's when you inhale for 4 counts or 4 seconds, hold for 7 seconds, then exhale for 8 seconds. This technique has been shown to reduce anxiety and improve heart rate variability. The next thing that can be done to regulate your nervous system is movement. You can regulate through physical activity. Movement helps reset the nervous system. Exercising, stretching, and even gentle activities like yoga or Tai Chi help process stored stress and regulate emotions. Studies show that regular physical activity can decrease cortisol levels and improve overall resilience to stress. Another way to rewire the nervous system is through cold exposure. Cold exposure, such as cold showers or ice baths, trigger a controlled stress response that helps train your nervous system to regulate itself more effectively. Now, these need to be done safely, so I wouldn't recommend doing this without having a conversation with your primary care doctor or some other medical doctor that is in your treatment team. There's something called the Wim Hof method, which combines breath work and cold exposure. It's been linked to reduced inflammation and improved emotional resilience. Again, I do not recommend trying cold exposure without having a conversation with someone on your medical team. Another way to regulate your nervous system is by engaging in somatic practices. Since trauma is often stored in the nervous system, somatic therapy techniques can help discharge pent-up energy. Some examples of somatic practices are tapping. This is an emotional freedom technique. It helps to calm down overactive stress responses. There's also something called progressive muscle relaxation, which is systematically tensing and releasing muscle groups to relieve tension. I actually have a progressive muscle relaxation recording that is a little raw in terms of editing, but I'm going to upload it so that you're able to try this out if you're interested. Your nervous system plays a foundational role in mental health. When it's dysregulated, it actually contributes to conditions like anxiety, PTSD, or post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, and chronic stress. A chronically activated fight or flight response can lead to hypervigilance, racing thoughts, and difficulty relaxing. Hopefully, this is helping listeners understand that there is a link between the health of our nervous system and our mental health. On the other end of the spectrum, an overactive freeze response can contribute to feelings of numbness, fatigue, and disconnection. For example, if the nervous system has been in a prolonged state of stress, the body might shut down to conserve energy. This can lead to symptoms of depression. And finally, chronic nervous system dysregulation doesn't just affect mental health. It also impacts your physical well-being. So, persistent stress increases the risk of cardiovascular issues, and one can experience heart disease, for example. A dysregulated nervous system can disrupt your gut functioning. This can lead to things like irritable bowel syndrome or stomach pain. And also, a dysregulated nervous system essentially becomes a weakened immune system. So chronic stress lowers immunity, making you more susceptible to illness. Rewiring your nervous system doesn't happen overnight, but small, consistent changes can create lasting transformation. One of the things that can get you to engage in these small, powerful, consistent changes is habit stacking. This is something that we've mentioned before on the DLO, but it's also something that for the most part is pretty widely known. There was a book called Atomic Habits, and it talked a lot about habit stacking. So pairing nervous system regulation techniques with daily habits allow for better consistency. If you practice deep breathing before drinking your morning coffee or before bed, you will likely do better with consistency. Also, there is a role in having social connection. Frankly, human connection is one of the most powerful ways to regulate the nervous system. Engaging in supportive relationships can enhance something called co-regulation. This is when you help your nervous system feel safe. So, for example, a heartfelt conversation with a trusted friend can reduce stress levels. Just like strengthening a muscle, rewiring your nervous system takes time. Being patient with yourself and celebrating small victories is important. For example, instead of getting frustrated when feeling anxious, recognize that your nervous system is doing its best to protect you. Your nervous system is at the core of how you experience life, physically, emotionally, and mentally. By learning how to regulate and rewire it, you can create a foundation for greater resilience, improved mental health, and overall wellness. I have a challenge for you. Try at least one nervous system regulation practice this week. It can be the breath work, movement, or mindfulness. After you complete it, notice how you feel. And then come let me know. Share your thoughts on our YouTube page or with a friend. And if you found today's episode helpful, be sure to subscribe and leave a review. Until next time, take care and keep showing up for yourself.
To say hello, oh, oh, hello, oh, oh.